Hello, how you doing? This is Frank Chapman with the Chicago Alliance Against Race and Political Repression. Good evening to everyone. Actually, I'm standing in for Nataki Rhodes, who is hosting this show tonight. I'm not the host. As soon as she gets in, she will resume that responsibility, and I'll be the person that will be getting interviewed. What we're going to talk about tonight is a very important topic and subject, and that is we're going to talk about the many people in our state of Illinois, from the city of Chicago, who are torture survivors. And we are going to be gearing up a campaign starting now to free all of the Chicago police torture survivors. Just recently, the Marquette Four were freed by the state's attorney, Kim Foxx. She decided not to retry the cases, but we have like 100 and some odd other cases that are almost identical to the ones that she just freed. And we have the case of Javon Deloney, Wami Hawad, Johnny Plummer, Gerald Reed, and many others. And we would like for people, if they have cases of their relatives and whatnot that they'd like to talk about tonight on this show, please give us a call and talk about that. Because in the months ahead, the focus of my organization, the Chicago Alliance Against Race and Political Repression, is going to be on freeing these torture victims. This is ridiculous. We have some people that have been locked up for as long as 26 years for a crime that they did not commit. The mayor of Chicago has two mayors, Mayor Daley and Mayor Emanuel, have both apologized for the torture. There's been a reparations ordinance passed to give some of the torture victims reparations. So the city admits that the torture happened, but not one police officer has ever been prosecuted or sent to jail for this. John Burge, who a lot of people think went to jail for torture, did not go to jail for torturing prisoners. He went to jail for lying about torturing people. And so there's a difference. He went there for perjury. Yet and still, some of the people that he tortured are still in prison. I mean, I know this sounds unbelievable, but it's true. They're still in prison. And so there's something definitely wrong with this system. If you can't let innocent people go, and you have to tie them up in all kind of, entangled legal processes, then we have a problem with justice here. You know, justice is being delayed and denied. And in the case of these people, it's been delayed and denied for way too long. So we want to do something about this, and we want you to help us in doing something about it. First of all, we want all of the cases reopened, especially those based on tortured false confessions. We want the release of all men on recognizance bonds who have always said they were tortured and made to falsely confess. We want them on recognizance bond while their cases are being examined. We want the known police officers to, and when we come on in the future, we'll talk about these police officers in some detail. If some of you have names of police officers and you want to call them in now, please do so. But we want all the known police officers, all of the known torturers and their prosecutorial co-conspirators to be brought to justice. So call Kim Foxx today, or go on their website. Call Kim Foxx and demand justice for torture victims. You can call her at this number, 312-603-1880, or email her at the state's attorney's office at Cook County, Illinois.gov.
So, good evening, everyone. So, we have today with us Frank Chapman, and we have a caller. Caller, go ahead. Caller, go ahead.
You have to get over something. Like in front of Turn the green thing over there.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
Hello, I agree with the gentleman 100%. Get them all out of jail. Give them the,
Can he speak up a little bit? I can't hear the caller.
okay, I says, I agree with the young man next to you 100%. Because this has been going on for years. But you know what gets me mad? You know what gets me mad is, you know Rahm Emanuel don't care. You know that junk. But we go and vote every 4 years. And guess what? We put in black aldermen, we put in Hispanic aldermen, and you know what? And it just seems to get worse. We got to start voting for people that think like you. Because otherwise, it's going to stay the same or get even worse.
That's not our
Give
phone number.
all them guys, they got thrown in jail for nothing. Give them some money because they deserve it. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much. If you have any calls for us, call us right now at 312-738-1060. We have the co-director of CPAC and the founder of CPAC here with us talking about civilian police accountability, talking about the 100 torture victims and asking for Kim Foxx to release them. We're asking for the state's attorneys to look into these cases. Frank is here to ask the state's attorney to meet with the families because this is your job. This is our open demand, and we're asking everyone to join us in all our coalitions. And Frank, so tell us a little more about the families and the survivors and how long this struggle been going on, which you probably
Well,
went
this
over.
struggle's been, I already spoke on that just earlier before you got here. The struggle's been going on for like 26 years. And what we want people to do is to, and I'll say it again, we want you to call Kim Foxx today and demand justice for the torture victims. Her number is area code 312-603-1880. And if any of you out there have family members who have been tortured and you want to mention it on this program, please feel free to call in. We're talking about freeing falsely imprisoned people who've been locked up for almost 3 decades. Like I said, the longest torture victim has been locked up for 26 years. So we want these people out. But there's also a long-term answer to this crisis, and we want to talk about that a little bit today too.
Absolutely.
We want to put the power that the mayor currently has to appoint who is running the police department, the investigative powers that COPA has, which is taken over IPRA, and also the powers that the police board has in terms of hiring and firing police officers. We want to take that and negotiating the FOP contract. We want to take that power and put that power into the hands of the people because it's been abused in the hands of politicians, and it's been abused in the hands of the mayor and the police board, the internal affairs department, and the independent police review authority. So we're talking about putting this power in the hands of the people by creating legislation. We already have the legislation. It's already in the city council. It's calling for an all-elected, all-civilian police accountability council. It's currently in the safety committee, Committee on Public Safety. We need to get that legislation passed. So you need to also call your alderman, whoever your alderman is. You need to call your alderman and tell your alderman to get on board. Currently we have 10 aldermen who have endorsed this legislation, and we need at least 20 more to make sure that it can overcome a veto. There are 50 aldermen in the city council. So we're only 1/5 of the way there. So we need to get this support. As you know, police crimes in this city has
a long history.
Yeah, has a long history and has reached epidemic proportions. Almost every week that goes by, you hear something about the police either brutalizing somebody or killing somebody. Recently, Donald Trump has talked about sending in federal troops or federal agents address the issue of violence in the African American community. So I just want to say something about that too.
Absolutely. Please say something.
Yeah. I'm just talking on. I got a host here. I need to let her ask me some questions and host this program. Please excuse me.
No problem. Finish your statement.
But yeah, I was getting carried away there. We don't need more police. We don't need federal troops. We don't need none of that. What we need is community control of the police. You see, the problem in the African American community and also the Latino community, but I can't purport to speak for them. They can speak for themselves. I'm African American. I can speak for our community. The problem is this. The problem is we have no power to say who polices our communities and how our communities are policed. As long as we don't have that power, we have no way of solving these police crimes. It's not by accident that over 70% of the homicide cases in our communities are unsolved. These torture cases had something to do with that. Most of these torture cases, people were forced to confess to murders that they did not commit. They were kids. They were juveniles. They said they were gangbangers. I don't care whether they were gangbangers or not. They have a constitutional right, an inalienable human right, not to be tortured into making no confessions. And they were tortured, and they were kids. So they were basically kidnapped, kept out of communication with their families and whatnot, and tortured and beaten until they signed a confession. Now, if this is the way that the police are solving crime, then no wonder we have 70%, over 70% of the homicides in our communities unsolved. Because the police are not there to solve them, you know. They're there mainly to exercise social control over us. The only way we can stop this is that we have the power to say who polices our communities and how our communities are policed. And that's exactly what CPAC does. That's what an all-elected Civilian Police Accountability Council does. So we hope you will join us in that effort and that struggle too.
All right. That's what I'm talking about, because we need a full explanation and for people to understand what CPAC's demands are, what we're asking for. And so we're asking, and you're asking for, and you're giving Kim Foxx a chance to do her job and to start off on the right foot.
Right. Well, she has started off on the right foot. She let 4 torture victims go, the Marquette 4. We wanted to stay on the right foot. And the only way that can be done is that we, the people, make our voices heard. We would have not gotten the Marquette 4 released. We would have not gotten Anita Alvarez out of office. We would have not gotten the former superintendent of the police, McCarthy, fired. You know, none of this would have happened. None of this would have happened if it wouldn't have been people in the streets protesting and demanding justice in these cases. And we want you to keep on protesting and keep on demanding justice. And we want you to also to keep on asking, as the sister said, keep on asking Kim Foxx to do her job.
Hi, caller. You need to ask Frank a question, Frank Chapman a question of CPAC?
Yes.
Yeah, speak up, caller.
Yes. Hello.
Hi.
Yes. My name is Milton Taylor.
Yes.
I would like to say that what we have to do is get into the fraternal order of police and get all the white Roman Catholic organization out. The Roman Catholic is no longer a religion. It is an organization.
I heard him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we're not. Our movement is not based on, fighting against any particular religion. There are people who are supporting our campaign who are Catholics. There are people who are Baptists, people who are Muslims, people of all different religions and so forth. So this is not a religious struggle. This is a struggle involving all of the people in our community who want justice. I wouldn't care what your religion is. If you're willing to fight for justice, I'm willing to stand with you.
Hello?
Yes, caller.
Yes, the Roman Catholic is no longer a religion. It is an organization.
Okay. Well, I've already given my answer.
Okay. Well, one thing I want you to explain, Frank, is that a number of people seem to kind of get CPAC mixed up with anti-violence movement. Can you tell us the difference between CPAC and civilian police accountability and anti-violence, or the Cobra movement, as the mayor is trying to push Cobra as a CPAC, civilian police accountability? Because I think a lot of people are getting confused. A lot of people that I hear say, oh, we are pushing for civilian police accountability. We are for CPAC. So are they stealing or
Well,
using? How is it?
Yeah, there's a group that the mayor is trying to bring about, which would be an appointed group, appointed by him under his ordinance, which is called civilian. So he's calling for a civilian advisory police council,
Okay.
which has the same acronym as CPAC.
Okay. That's
And
what
and it's not, he's a very treacherous and clever person. So it's not by accident that they have the same acronym.
Okay.
It's to confuse people.
Again.
That is a fake, because that is not about us having any control over the policing in our communities. That's about City Hall continuing to have the control and therefore continuing to excuse and justify police crimes. So we are not in favor of the mayor's CPAC. We're in favor of the people's CPAC, the one that we're pushing. And we're the ones that have a bill in the city council for an all-elected, all-civilian police accountability council. He has no such bill in there for that, and he won't put one in there for that because they don't believe in the democratic process. He has a bill in there called COPA that has already been passed. That's the Civilian Office of Police Accountability. It's already been passed. It does nothing but replace IPRA, and it's going to carry out the same policies. It already is carrying out the same policies that have always been carried out. And those policies is give you and me no say whatsoever in how our communities are policed and who polices them. So we're not in favor of that. Let me
Caller.
the caller.
Yes, caller.
Yes, I wanted to make the point. I think there are a great many people out there who certainly advocate for civilian review. At the same time, I think that we are looking for some sort of balance. I think it would be inappropriate to simply have a group of people who have no background in forensics, criminology, or law enforcement that would, for instance, be making decisions about the legitimacy of police shootings. We need a balance of the community. We need people who have some background in these various fields. We can't simply grab together a group of people from the community without any background or training or education and say evaluate the actions of police. That's like asking someone to perform surgery on someone without ever having been to medical school. You can't do it. I mean, there has to be a balance.
Okay. Well, we're not talking about the same thing here. We're talking about who controls the process. The people we're electing the people to be in control of the process. If we need experts, we can hire them. If whatever expertise we need, we can hire those experts, just like they're doing.
The current board
just
now.
like they're doing
Everybody
now.
doesn't have
But
expertise.
we're not in control of the process. We're talking about us, people who live in the communities, people who've been brutalized by the police, people whose family members have been killed by the police. We're talking about us being in control.
Yes, caller.
What I'm saying is that individuals who don't have the educational or training background don't understand who needs to be hired or needs to be adopted as an authority.
So you saying a regular person from the community, they shouldn't be allowed to run for elected?
We should allocate a certain number of those positions to people who are only individuals that have the training and background. because the average person doesn't know that we need to hire a forensics expert. And simply the fact that they could be elected, say with a high school education, how in heaven's name are they going to know what kind of expert we need to retain in order to make a decision with regard to this issue?
We've already answered that. Now, I mean, it's not really an argument. It's just we're looking at different things. We're talking about who is in control of the process. We're not talking about who's an expert. We're talking about we're talking about the people have a democratic right to say who polices their communities and how their communities are policed. You don't need to be an expert to exercise your democratic rights. It's like you don't need to be an expert to vote. You don't need to be an expert to get elected to a public office. There's no expert qualification on getting elected to a public office. What we're talking about is creating a public office where the people will be empowered to control the police and to hold the police accountable when they commit crimes, when they go outside the law.
Litany of offices. I can go through a whole litany of public offices that require specialized education. You cannot be a judge and not be an attorney, for instance.
That's not true. That's not true.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What, exactly? Name the major county in
You can run for public office and not be an expert.
for judge. I said.
I mean, we do
We're not
have the
talking about- we're
president
not
of the
talking about
United
judges.
States. He's not. He
we're not
has
talking
no
about judges.
political office, but for some reason, he's the president of the United States.
Exactly,
So
and that's
we know it's a
exactly what we
possibility.
All right. That's exactly what we get. It makes my point exactly. This is what happens when
So
unqualified.
how much time does one caller get?
Okay, caller. Thank you for your call. And so, yes, so we're here again talking about civilian police accountability today. We have Frank Chapman of CPAC, Civilian Police Accountability. And so we at CPAC, we are every Monday from 6 to 8, 1325 South Wabash, Suite 105. Come and join us. Come to our meetings. Come and see. Come voice your opinion about what's going on in your community. CPAC is getting a community committee in every ward. We have 147th Ward, the 50th Ward, the 8th Ward, the 4th Ward. So if you would like to start a committee in your ward, as the caller was talking about expertise, get some more information about CPAC, stoppolice.crime. And you can go there and you can see the ordinance that CPAC has created that's pushing through the city council. So come and join us at 1325 South Wabash every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. And we are out on the tabling, doing tabling. You can see us out anywhere in the community every Saturday from 12 to 3. Come and join us. Come join the conversation about CPAC. Call Kim Foxx. Get on her. Stay on her about the 100 torture victims that's sitting in prison. Get on her about talking to the families. Yes, Marquette 4 is, but we have 100 more to go. Our work is not done. Contact Kim Foxx, your state's attorney office. Talk to her. Start a conversation about the torture victims. We don't want nobody sitting in jail that don't have to be sitting in jail. And we, the taxpayer, are paying for them to sit in jail, especially if they're supposed to be a free man or woman. So call Kim Foxx. Come and join us at CPAC's 1325 South Wabash every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. and on Saturdays from 12 to 3. We're going to be down for the next couple of months, but we'll be back. If you don't see us on the air, you'll see us out on the street. Come and join us on Saturdays and come join us on Mondays. And please, as I say, get in touch. Contact Kim Foxx about the torture victims. Talk to the families. Visit stopcrimespolice.com. Thank you. Have a nice evening.